Hi, everybody. This is day 1833. 1833, I believe so. Let me go on and look. It has been another busy day. Whoa, that's a picture. Turning on my phone. I tell you, we've got some pictures. We've got some evidence. We've got a lot of evidence. We got a lot of forms. Um, I tell you, it is, we're not lacking in evidence, right? My friend said, "Oh, you have a robust mountain of evidence." Making me laugh. Um, because you have to be able to, still have what in our family we call the joy of salvation, right? You still have to be able to enjoy life through all of this hell, in order to um, report and expose all of the evil. You can't let them get to you. You have to really march with your head up. Um, so thank God for friends. Thank God for friends. Okay, so here I always think that before I come on, I can, write a little some notes on everything I want to say, but the day is so full. The day is so full. We have 8,000 followers. That's not including all those that follow us but that are not followers. I don't know if you understand that, but it is it's huge because there's a lot of people that have been retaliated against for following us. So, um like bullied or whatever at the beginning, and we have worked very, very hard behind the scenes um to get all the information out so that people um, are joining us and understand what's at stake and what we're doing and not afraid. Um, so that when someone sends you a certain message or bullies you, you can just, be like a duck and let it slide off, and hey, Satan, get behind me. And that's been working. Look at, we're at 8,000 followers, people that are um, responding and asking questions and sharing information, even making us videos. And I just want to say thank you so much for that. That was amazing, absolutely amazing. And I hope that everyone goes on. I posted on the Facebook, and I need to post on all the other platforms what has been going on, because it's just been so busy, and people are getting the word out for us. That's the bottom line. People are getting the word out that something is very, very wrong, stinky. I say stinky with the Walmart mass shooting case. We do not have justice with that case, and we do not have justice with our son's case, because the two are intertwined. And I've said this for a long time, and it's hard to understand. It's hard for us to understand. But when you see all the evidence, you go, "Oh, exactly." The same people, that um, participated in the bloody orchestration of the Walmart mass shooting. And by now, you absolutely need to know that evidence confirms that the Walmart mass shooting um, was absolutely a bloody orchestration. Okay, I'm not saying that people didn't get hurt, didn't get lose their life. Absolutely, we have the raw footage, the raw photographs, because of people, um, us earning their trust and entrusting us to that very sensitive material, so that we can confirm that these people were also involved in targeting Richard and also losing his life. And, that is, it, wow. It's so hard to take in that kind of evil, because not only, and I absolutely believe this, the same people that orchestrated this bloody mass shooting, um, that also targeted the whistleblowers, meaning Glenn and Oakley Jr., that also targeted Richard, the whistleblower, also the whistleblower in our son's case, Judge Roger Rodriguez. These uh, targeted our family, right? Targeted our family, targeted, and when I say family, I mean also our extended family and friends. These same people, it's the same group. It's the same criminal group that did this. And their number one target was President Trump, and is still President Trump. And he has beaten them. He's beaten them, and we're beating them. So he absolutely worked very hard. He won the trust of the American people. He won their vote. He's in. And look at what is going on. 4 days after he takes the oath, we get the letter that Richard is in the line of duty, lost his life in the line of duty. Okay. Killed in the line of duty were the exact words. And then with the other information that we have, other forms that we have, killed on Fort Bliss in the line of duty, and then with the evidence, murdered on Fort Bliss in the line of duty. So I can absolutely, with all surety, say that our son lost his life in the worst type of way in the line of duty on Fort Bliss, by the hands of his own command, that were connected to the cartel, that were involved in criminal trafficking and all kinds of other crimes. And through these years, evidence confirms it over and over and over again, not just one little piece, over and over and over again. And so we can absolutely say that. And now, uh, you know, if we look at the Walmart mass shooting frame by frame, it gets um, any little piece of evidence that shows what happened in the what truly happened in the Walmart mass shooting, gets us closer to what really happened with Richard, um, with his remains, right? With his remains. And so, and it also, uh, with the law enforcement, with the intelligence community, they have been so misled. You have to remember that Obama, uh, in his small intelligence group, created uh, so many lies and so much obstruction and so much targeting of President Trump, that the intelligence community were not getting the information that they should. And we know that through the documents that have been released lately, they were not getting the documents that they should have gotten. They were being misled also. So the intelligence community was being misled. The FBI was being misled by rogue, well, I should say dirty FBI agents. And El Paso field office has dirty FBI agents, okay, that leak, that put people's lives at risk. And so those that are wanting to obey their oath or honor their oath, those FBI agents and those intelligence agents that want to honor their oath and serve their country and secure our border um, and our military installations, they were being misled. They were being fed bad information. Exculpatory evidence was being kept from them, and it goes on and on. And so these live streams are for the intelligence community that want to honor their oath, for the FBI that want to honor their oath. It's very interesting that the latest arrest of the soldier on Fort Bliss for spying, for selling our magnificent tank information to a Russian, right? Uh, to Russia, which is just, oh gosh, it's so, it's just a traitor, right? But we like the law, so he's innocent until proven guilty, but this is what he's suspected of. It's interesting that his arrest came not from CID on Fort Bliss, not from the leadership, not from Major General Curtis Taylor wanting to secure Fort Bliss. This tells you that there's a real problem with Major General Curtis Taylor. There's a real problem with him and who he's loyal to, because he has to have undercover Washington FBI agents that are on Fort Bliss that do a sting that can arrest this soldier that is trying to betray our country. I mean, it tells you a lot that CID was not involved, that Major General Curtis Taylor wasn't involved. It also tells you that there are undercover FBI agents now, right, on Fort Bliss. Uh, so, uh, so you'll see, I people that not would not normally do their job, they're going to do their job because now they're being watched. They're actually being watched. And this was the problem. The oversight, like, remember Senator Ted Cruz? He wrote that magnificent letter and he wanted answers. And they really, people that were below him in rank, right? He's a sitting senator, and here he has someone that is like 20 ranks below him, right? In the whole scheme of things, telling him that, you know, really flipping him off. Remember when Christine Wormuth just, like, I don't have to tell you. And Ford, Director Ford of the CID, uh, note just that. And I ran into this evidence the other day, reminder, because we have so much evidence that, when you're sifting through it, you get reminded. But Ford did tell Senator Cruz that he knows that there were leaks in Richard's case, that the CID leaked. That the CID leaked. He knows that. And that, of course, Tavita Nusa lost his badge. It was terminated. His badge was terminated, was taken from him in 2021. And so that's confirmed. So, and that doesn't get shared in the news. And that's really big news, because it's very, very difficult for a CID to have his badge terminated. I mean, that's a really big deal. So, and that just shows you that that office was compromised. And now that they're not even involved in 2025 with this investigation, this sting, they're still not trusted, right? They're still not trusted. So President Trump and Secretary Hegseth, they have with the FBI, they have their work cut out for them, because we know that the infiltration into our military, and I know that they don't like to say it, right? They don't like to say it, but I have to say it. I have to say it because it is important for us to have trusted leadership on Fort Bliss in order to get accountability for Richard's case. Just like it is important for us to have a trusted, properly installed DA. Our DA, Montoya. That was um, uh, the song that we put together for Montoya, because he's fake. He is so fake. He even faked his name. He fakes everything. He just fakes everything, and it's so bad. It's so bad. And so because he has created or committed so many violations, and is not a legitimate. He's a rogue district attorney, a rogue prosecutor, just like Bill Hicks. And so it is important for us, it's very personal to us, that we get a legitimate district attorney in that office so that we can get accountability. And the same thing with the military. The same thing with JAG. The same thing with JAG. JAG was also infiltrated. You saw that with Judge uh, um, Shuck, right? Judge, when we wanted FOIAs from him, he held it out of El Paso, out of Fort Bliss. He held I held it out, um, uh, because and this was another piece of evidence that the Walmart mass shooting, um, and the Mag Court and our son's case are all connected, and that they're absolutely intertwined with the Sinaloa cartel, with the Juarez cartel also. But the Sinaloa cartel is a very big deal because that's an FTO. So, because those are all tied together, the Walmart mass shooting is super important. And today was a huge breaking news. I mean, huge. There's so much breaking news in all of this. You just have to look for it, right? You just have to look, and then all of a sudden, when you put the information out, people give you even more. And today, looking at the YouTube of the Patrick Crusius interrogation that was released by the DPS, the Department of Public Safety, who in El Paso is led by director Jose Sanchez, right? Joe Sanchez. And Joe Sanchez has been compromised, right? With being frisky, being handsy, with this Daniela, right? With Daniela uh, and Naragari or something like that. Naragari, and she's very connected. Y'all, she is loaded. She is loaded. Okay. So I think it's not like she needs anything from him, right? Oh, well, maybe she needs access from him. Maybe she needs case information from him, right? But anyway, she's loaded. She doesn't um, need any bracelets from him or diamond earrings or anything like that. She's loaded. So that really corroborates that this was also a method, a honeypot, right? A honeypot trap. That's what this was, a honeypot trap. But DPS put out this video of Patrick Crusius's interrogation, and you have to go through it with a fine tooth comb if you're Richard Halliday's family, because whatever comes out with the Walmart mass shooting will have evidence and pieces of the puzzle for our son's case. And one of of course, um, the bolt open, that was a very big deal. I can tell you, though, the little bit of video that they released, and it's spliced together, right? It's edited, and and you have to take that into consideration. And it also indicates that they don't want us to get the full picture, right? They want to mislead us, right? You can twist the truth, you can twist the truth. And so they're putting out a little bit, but they're splicing it and editing it, and they want to mislead the public. And but they're not very good at it. They're not very good at it because there's so much evidence against their narrative, right? We know that Patrick Crusius was not a lone shooter. We know that because of Glennon Oakley Jr. We know that because of many other witnesses that absolutely have been corroborated. We know that there was a real problem with the forensics. I don't even know if they have a forensic report yet, because I think 2 years going, and they never had a forensics report. So there's a real problem with this, with the bullets, and we've been told now that needs to be confirmed, right? But we've been told, and the more that all this other evidence is coming out, the more that we can mention about the brown tip bullets that are armored piercing. And we were told that those are involved in the Walmart mass shooting case. Well, you can't get those. You can't get those kind of bullets unless you're doing if you unless you're in the military, right, or unless you're in law enforcement or something like that. Those are not for public consumption, um, or to purchase them in a store. So, that is really telling here, because they don't want to really release the full forensics so that we understand what happened. And you have to also remember that we've paid millions of dollars for this investigation. And so why not? We paid for it. Why can't we see it? The other cases, mass shooting cases, they release this information. Why not for the Walmart mass shooting? Why not? And of course, we released that Patrick Crusius in this video proves that he's blind. He's blind. He's blinder than I am. Uh, without his glasses, I mean, he really can't see. Like he holds the paper up like this close to his face. So that is worrisome, because that shows you with his autism, with his severe mental health conditions, also with the tactical earmuffs that might have had communications in them. Okay, um, because I I suspect that they had communications in them. That's why he wore them. But with the eye problem, he says he has sensory problems, right? He has sensory problems. So maybe that's it. But that needs to be absolutely investigated. Where are these headphones? These tactical uh, headphones, right? And did they have communications in them? Then also, um, so we did that, and we did, of course, at the beginning, this whole manifesto thing. Um, we did Hoffman's feet, moving in there. Uh, uh, that just is not right. Of course, my husband is a physician assistant, a perfusionist physician assistant. That was not right. That was one of the very first things that we addressed. So slowly we're going through all of this evidence and sharing what we have found, right? What we have found. And today it it involves another victim. Okay, another victim. This victim, absolutely from Juarez, Mexico. She is a very well off. She's a well-connected, well-off, very well-connected uh, Mexican citizen from Juarez, a very classy woman, Maria Eugenia um, Legarreta. I hope I'm saying that right. Roth. And so Maria, I'm just going to call her Maria. Maria Eugenia. Kind of like the Maria Eugenia Galvan, right? I mean, they just happen to have the same first two names. But so Maria, she was um, shot in the parking lot of the Walmart, and we have had pictures. We've been working on this for months, um, identifying where all of these victims fell. Where did they fall? What were the reports? Um, does it make sense? And that's why when we got the video of Patrick Crusius going through the front door, going down, by the self checkout and everything, none of that makes sense when you know where these victims have been reported to have fallen, right? And there should be evidence of that, and there isn't. There's one, and that is um, Alexander Hoffman. And then we have evidence of Memo Garcia and where he um, was shot outside. But then you have Maria, who was shot outside, and it was brutal, y'all. It was brutal. It was the same thing like Alexander Hoffman. These were professional headshots, okay? Professional. This was not done by someone that has a hard time seeing, that can't remember anything, that is la-di-da, that is skipping down the aisle or walking like kind of like toes out down the hall, the front of the store. Um, it, you know, and it really seems like there's kind of two different individuals there, outside and inside. One is more robust than the other one. One is skinnier. Patrick Crucius is skinnier. Um, one moves different. Their whole gait when they're walking and everything is different. So that is, really obvious when you watch it. But what's very obvious, and that's why I had to put the video together where you see it repeat, 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 is that there is no way that Patrick Crucius shot Maria. Look at the video. When you know what kind of shot killed her, there is no way that he did that. Because the video, even if they spliced it or whatever, just look at it. And and it was really confusing because the pictures that came out with him with the gun, it was in the west entrance, right? The west entrance where Alexander Hoffman is. That's where they said that he came in at. That's what Ernest Christopher Grant was saying, that's where he was at, throwing the soda bottles, hiding behind chips and stuff like that. Yet everything was perfectly in place when you see the video. So, and of course now he's a proven liar, but it was the west entrance. If you're looking at the Walmart, the west entrance where the cop went in, right? In the video where Alexander Hoffman is lying there, where he lost his life. Um, But that's not what's happening in this DPS interrogation video that they released. He's more on the S interrogation video that they released. East side, the center to the east, and he even turns and moves towards the east, which is really, you know, very interesting how it just doesn't fit the narrative. And so um, we had to, like, okay, let's plot this out. Let's plot this out on a Walmart map. Let's plot it out. Let's say, where is he? What at what time is he there? I mean, so there's so many discrepancies, right? That we've had to plot this out ourselves. And what it shows in this, in a second, right? And oh, I even forgot about the man with the cup man. Um, they're saying he went in to buy the oranges, right? This is August 3rd, 2019. Trump is booming. He is booming our economy. Um, and they absolutely, he is getting popular. He is getting very, very popular. He is getting popular with everybody, even minorities, and their target was President Trump. Okay, he's getting popular with everybody, even minorities, and their okay, because investigations in the Walmart for their cartel money laundering using gift cards. We know that that was going on, and their banking facilities. So, it, when you put together the executive orders that President Trump was doing, the tightening of the border, vetting who's going across, and Purchase Funeral Home is not going to like that, right? If they're getting vetted going across, because what are they taking? You've got a hearse, and it says purchase on it, or you've got a van, and you're taking things to and from, and you have the special license to do it. What are you taking to and from? Because they don't care about Corpus Christi, right? They don't care about Corpus Christi. They have no respect for the human body, right? You see that with the other news that we have that I can talk about, uh, it, with um, the crematorium not even having a furnace since an active running furnace since 2022. The news is coming in so quick, so just stay with me on this. But so uh, in 2019, this group that are fraudsters. The way they make their money is they're fraudsters. They're cartel fraudsters, and they take advantage of the system. And because President Trump was tightening that up, he was turning off their spigots like he has been doing the last 6 months, right? 7 months. Um, they orchestrated this mass shooting. That's where the evidence indicates. And of course, you have the Mayellas in the Walmart cybersecurity, in the DA's office, in the FBI, and the federal courthouse. You have them really well connected with mental health care. You have them connected at Texas Tech University Health Science Center. You have them connected with the judicial community, with the church community, with the prosecutors, with the law enforcement. And of course, then the cartel is on Fort Bliss. and you have the CID that's compromised, um, and and of course you have the medical examiner that's compromised. They're all in it. They all know each other, and it made for it made for a very bold move that was so evil. It empowered them to do evil because they had compromised our institutions so much that they just felt like they were above the law, that they could do this kind of thing with the media and not have to ever pay, not be held accountable at all. And Patrick Crusius absolutely has family. He was part of it. He was part of it. So, you can't deny that. But he's not, he has autism. He has severe mental health condition, right? And with that comes physical conditions like the eyesight problem, like the hearing problem, like fine motor coordination. That's why, the reports that we're getting in is that he couldn't even tie his shoes. And that was not me just saying that. That's the reports that we're getting in, that he couldn't even tie his shoes when he was 18 years old, because of the coordination, because of his skills were lacking. When he's failing kindergarten, um, the manifesto doesn't fit him, right? That doesn't fit him. And so here we're watching the video, and this person is walking down uh, the parking lot towards the Walmart, and e- Eugenia is already on the ground. Eugenia is already on the ground. They had to put a black box over her. And they're thinking you're just going to think that he shot her from afar. But we're telling you today that's not the kind of injury that she had. She had a close range, very professional headshot. Gruesome, gruesome. And there's no way that he could do something like that and not, especially since who he is with his sensory overload problems, that he does not vomit on himself, that he does not get paralyzed and shaken. This is when you go and talk to professionals that have dealt with this kind of situation. They look at that and it's like he's out there like he's playing laser tag. And that doesn't make sense either. And he's coming up to her body, and it's gruesome. And he just pivots, and there's not a shot fired. And this is in seconds, right? In seconds. And then he turns east. East. Maybe he's going towards Memo Garcia or whatever. And so by the video, there's no way, if you just use the video as evidence, there is no way that he shot her. They have a lot of questions they have to answer. And he did, we have it on audio. We have audio also that he said that he only, and I don't want to use the word only, but that's his word, okay? Only shot one or two people. So, and that kind of goes to that whole interrogation where he's never really sure about anything, right? Oh yeah, that's it. Oh yeah. Oh, let me look at. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's just a formatting, or I don't know, and I don't know the color. I can't see color good, or he he is clearly one that needs a lot of attention. And to pull something like this off, I've taught, well, we've talked to, and I've talked to, um, and we gave this video to so many people that are in this business, and they were like, no way, no way. And also that in the interrogation room that there was a plant, right? That there was a plant. You don't have a plant in an interrogation. You he's handcuffed to a table, right? Or something. You don't take his handcuffs off. I don't. It's very strange. Um, when and this is just hours after 23 people, well 22, and then memo later, 22 people lose their life. 23 are injured, and you're playing nicey with him. It's the whole thing is just stinky, and it just shows you that the system, the agencies, the 15 plus agencies, have been compromised, and um, and then it makes sense to us why they were lying to us so much, right? Uh, because we absolutely knew that they were lying to us, but they don't care. They absolutely can lie to you, and because they're really lying to the population, they're really lying to the public, because the public doesn't really know. The public depends on them. But the victims and the victims' families, they know that um, this is a setup, or that there's more to this, and and they just lie to the public, so that they take away any support that you might have. And that's why the 8,000 followers are so important, because they've worked so hard to not to take away any kind of support from us, for us, and for Richard, mainly for Richard. So and that's why Bob Moore of El Paso Matters, which now President Trump has fired the IRS commissioner. We are so happy about that, because we need a commissioner in there that is absolutely going to take away the 501c3 tax exempt status away from El Paso Matters and Bob Moore. He needs to be arrested because he's so biased, right? And he also targeted Richard in 2019. He's part of this group. We could name the people that are part of this group. And another thing that news that came in that you might not know, because uh, we acquired FitFam El Paso, and that was a good decision for us to do. Gave us a lot of information, even though they run it illegally, because we have the rights to it. Um, but FitFam El Paso Instagram seems to have been taken down. Okay, so that seems to have been taken down. So things happening behind the scenes that are good news. So that's a little breaking news there. The man with the cup, that's a little breaking news. He just vanishes going back to the interrogation video. He just vanishes. You have um, Maria's body laying there in the video, being blocked out, but we know it's her. We can look at the cars, right? We know by other pictures that we have that that's her. We also know by other evidence that that's her. And she is somebody, okay? She was not just a passerby. She is somebody. She's very well connected. And I do want to tell you this, that her husband was totally distraught. And he was then later, and I'll post that up too, because yeah, I'll post that up too. But he also lost his life. He lost his life too, um, by gunshot. And, we're hearing that it wasn't by his own hand. It was right outside of a theater. So, something is going on when you look at Alexander Gerhard Hofmann wrote, and then you have um, Maria Eugenia Legarreta Rothe. Uh, you know, and then her husband loses his life later. And if you report gunshots in the mall, then in April 8th, Glendon Oakley Jr., he's not alive, laying in his barracks room. Um, something is very, very wrong, and we need to get to the bottom of it. And of course, um, Richard being the Fort Bliss whistleblower, and his life, being forcibly removed from the barracks room and his life taken from him. And then this whole thing with the crematorium, because more and more evidence is pointing that, uh, you know, he's connected to the crematorium, that rotting body dumping ground that is owned by the corpse stacker Raphael Quran, the corpse stacker, um, and he's living in Sausenbraus. He's living high on the hog, right? He's living high on the hog, um, while he is running a place that is stacking rotting bodies with no intention of doing anything with them, because his furnace doesn't even work since 2022. And he's telling people during the whole, masking thing, that he cares about them and that they should wear a mask and all of that, while he has rotting bodies, flies everywhere, stink. I mean, he doesn't think that's unhealthy. He doesn't think that's going to make people sick. I mean, and he's living in Sausenbraus. He's living with, right next to Beto O'Rourke, and you know, next, almost a palace. It's yeah, with many businesses, many restaurants, strip joints or nightclubs, other businesses, gas and oil. Yeah, I'm just wondering if he pays taxes, because this whole thing with no license, and then the governor of Chihuahua's, Maru Campos's mother, is leading the agencies for oversight. See, this is why the FBI, why Marco Rubio is leading the investigation, right? With the Marco's list, right? With the Marco's list, why he has to have that Marco's list. Very, very obvious with all of the evidence, and there's so much of it. I know it might make your head spin, but just realize that the point tonight is that the video that the DPS released from Mr. Hansy, Mr. Uh, let's get frisky in a parking lot in public, and compromise the entire DPS when I'm the top cop, right? I'm the top cop, and I depend on uh, my rangers to act a certain way, but I'm going to get handsy in public where people are taking pictures, right? Um, so this video gets released by him and it can't be trusted. It can't be trusted. And then it proves itself that it can't be trusted because there are too many irregularities. Too many irregularities. Almost every scene is a irregularity. Almost, how many little videos or memes have I made so far? From just that, they're withholding the truth from us in that YouTube. They're withholding the truth from us from the Walmart mass shooting. And they're withholding the truth from us about our son and where his remains are. And so, this is a huge, case, bigger than Iran Contra. It absolutely has to do with weapons. It absolutely has to do with the hundreds of thousands of children that they traffic it through Fort Bliss. It absolutely has to do with uh, foolery and fraud of the system, taking advantage of the system. Um, Absolutely has to do with substances um, and uh, compromising operations, like with, and I'm talking about bringing in the young girls on base, being mules for stuff and all of that. So compromising operations, right, to silence whistleblowers. Absolutely. So we've got to get to the bottom of this, and we appreciate everyone listening day in and day out to pretty remarkable information, unbelievable, world changing information right here on Find Richard Halliday, for justice for Richard Halliday, to find Richard Halliday's remains, to bring his remains home, and to hold those that did this horrible, evil thing accountable. So thank you so much. I hope I answered the question. There's a lot of questions surrounding Maria Eugenia. She's a very interesting person, but what we can tell you is that by the information that we have, clearly Patrick Crusius is not the one that shot her. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I will